You are now in tune with
Mamba Radio.
What up, everybody? Thank you for tuning in to Brown Mamba Radio. For those of you who don't know, my name is Jackson. And happy Aloha Friday to all you guys out there. And girls, don't think I forgot about you two ladies. But happy Aloha Friday to everybody out there. Hopefully you guys all enjoyed your week. And hopefully you guys all have a great weekend or have great plans for the weekend. Just going to take this episode to quickly just kind of update you guys on what's been going on. With me personally, just real quickly, nothing too crazy. As far as why I haven't been, uploading anything lately, haven't been any episodes recently. Why I haven't been posting on like Instagram and all this stuff lately either. Just got a lot of stuff going on in my personal life. I moved recently. I just finally got like everything pretty much settled in. Just kind of got a little bit of, stuff here and there to take care of and organized and stuff like that. But I was busy, finding a new place, getting into my new place. And then I also had a lot of stuff going on with work. Like I said, this isn't my full-time gig. This is just, a hobby that I have, and it's just my creative outlet. And things have been like a little difficult for me. Things have been tough, a little busy and stuff like that at work, for me as well. I moved a little further away from where I work and stuff like that. So there's that, and just like other things going on in my life. I've got some other things going. Family stuff going on, stuff like just general life stuff that gets in the way. And just like I said, and it's also just kind of good for me to kind of just step away a little bit. And I did the same kind of thing last year a little bit. I took time off from it, and in the summertime, which is kind of weird, but just kind of took away and took time away, excuse me, and kind of like, regathered everything, kind of just kind of got my energy and my feng shui and my balanced all my chakras and all that stuff, but just had to just kind of recenter myself a little bit. So yeah, like I said, everything seems to be, less chaotic, less crazy and stuff. And so, like I said, things are getting settled in, much better, I guess I should say. And, like I said, I'm ready to get back into it. I really thought about it. I missed it a lot. I don't think I wasn't paying attention. I still was, to everything that I love, giving my unqualified opinions about. But, like I said, I was still dialed in. I was still plugged in, still logged on and all that stuff. And, but yeah, like I said, I'm just excited to be back. Excited to be back doing this. Trying to get back to the 2-week format. Looks more, for now at least, it looks like it's going to be closer to like 1 a week. But like I said, until things kind of I gotta get back into the swing of things, get the ball rolling and stuff like that. But like I said, I'm glad to be in a new space. The energy just wasn't right at my old spot. I just felt like it was time to move on. And like I said, its energy's great. I'm living with 2 of my close friends that I've known for a long time. 2 buddies I went to high school with, and like I said, things could be a lot worse. I'll put it that way. Things could be a lot worse. I'm doing pretty good. But enough about me. And let's just get back to what everyone comes here for. At least what I think they come here for, and that's me talking sports and stuff like that. So starting things off on kind of a not a bad note, I wouldn't say, but. With the Dodgers, things are just kind of not all over the place. It's just, not a good time for them to be playing the kind of baseball that they've been playing recently. For the majority of the season, at least for the beginning of the season, they're looking more like they were at the beginning of the season. It was pretty rough start to the season for the Dodgers. Then, they started to turn it around. About, quarter of the way in, All-Star break happened, cooled off a little bit, still continued to play a little bit well, but, just kind of starting to fall off a little bit. And like I said, it's quite possibly the worst possible time for them to do this. As for the majority of the season, they were, top of the NL West, but they are now currently sitting in third place in the NL West. 4.5 games back of the the division leading D-backs. And let me take a look. Let me see how far back are they from the Rockies. They're a game behind. They're a game behind the Rockies. Oh no, 3.5 games behind the Rockies. Excuse me. And like I said, it's just just not the right time for this. And they just recently finished their series with the Cards where they got swept. Those damn Cardinals. But like I said, they after having a pretty good series against the Mariners, one of the teams contending for the AL West, and it's just tough and it's frustrating right now because as of right now, if the season ended today, right now the Dodgers are on the outside looking in. They don't even have a wild card spot. They'd be on the outside looking in, and like I said, there is, if I'm not mistaken, the season's almost over. Don't forget that. There is, just about a little more than a month left in the regular season, with a majority of these games being division games. Again, I emphasize this a lot for those of you who don't know or new to this, or just not familiar with baseball or sports in general. The games within the division count for more than, games against non-divisional teams. Like I said, they got starting this weekend. Starting tomorrow, they have another series against the Padres, who are out of it. But again, division games they matter so much more. They matter so much, and then they got the Padres this weekend. In 2 weeks, they've got a 4-game series, which, in my opinion, to me, it starts on August 30th. From August 30th to Sunday, September 2nd, that is the biggest series of the season for the Dodgers. They need to, if they can't sweep it, they need to, breaking even won't do it for them. They need to win that series. They need to take that series. That'd be a huge swing for them. They need to take care of business there, and then they're going to play the Rockies 2 more times. From there, and then the Diamondbacks again towards the end of the season. But like I said, the season's coming down to the wire. It looks like the NL West division standings are going to come down to the wire, and every game matters, man. I mean, like I said, every single game matters. And just for those people, and I was talking about it before at the beginning of the season, the little games that they should have won before. Look how important they are now. It's just every game is important, not just in the later part of the season when the series or the division and the standings are getting close, but every game matters, and there's a lot of games that they should have taken care of business on in the beginning half part of the season. But like I said, don't want to look in the past, just got to look forward to the future. If they want to win, they've got to stop leaving runners on base, especially with runners in scoring position. I don't know how many times in this Cardinals series alone that they left the bases loaded. They didn't do anything with it. The games came down to, let me see the final scores of those the Cardinal games. It came down to, they were about 1-run games, 2-run games. Bases were loaded. I'm gonna just say this: at least once each game, Dodgers goofed with the bases loaded. Lost the first game 5-3. Lost the second game 5-2. Lost last night's game 3-1. There was plenty more than just one situation, with the bases loaded. Like I said, they've got to stop leaving runners on. They got to stop stranding runners out there. And the bullpen's just got to get it together as well. It goes both ways. The bullpen's got to get it together. These are just close. These are really, really close games. Last night's game was if you had to kind of sum up how it's been a little bit for the Dodgers recently, last night was it. Walker Buehler pitched a fucking gem yesterday. Pardon my language, a freaking gem yesterday. Pitched a damn gem, and the bullpen just gave it up late. And like I said, I'm not saying that they're terrible. I'm not saying it's all their fault and all that stuff. Dodgers, like I said, needed to get it done with the bats. But a lot of these, like I said, these games have been close, and I feel like I'm always getting a notification on my phone or something. That says the Dodgers are giving up, runs in the later innings, and it's the bullpen. And then when you get the final the final, box score or whatever, it's one of the relievers getting the loss, whether it's Chagua or it's Alexander or Baez or even Kenley lately. Kenley's been blowing it too, and I know he had the whole health scare with his heart, and I completely understand that, and like I said, but at the same time, Kenley is one of the best, and he's supposed to be the best closer in baseball, and like I said, these last few outings of his haven't shown that. So, like I said, it's a group effort. They got to get it together there. And listen, I know the big flies are their strong point, and that's their bread and butter. But we saw that they can play small ball in the Seattle series. They did it in a couple of the games, specifically in that, I think in the second game, where they just small balled the shit out of the Mariners. My dad would have been having a wet dream thinking about that game, but just the amount of small ball that was being played, and laying down base hits, stealing, all that crazy stuff, and like I said, I'm not saying completely change the game plan, because that's obviously getting a little too late for that, and you don't want to stray too much from what is your like I said, your strength and your bread and butter, but just why not sprinkle a little bit of it in there? We've seen that they can do it. They have the guys who are versatile enough to do it, and I don't know why they don't, but yeah, like Dodgers, man, they got to get it going, man, and like I said, every game matters from this point on, and they got to do their part, and hopefully the baseball gods will reward them in some other ways, and seeing if the Rockies or the Diamondbacks can have a little woes themselves. But yeah, that's the Dodgers. Angels, they're pretty much out of it at this point. I haven't been following them that much. So like I said, they're pretty much out of it. It's a 3-team, maybe 2-team, just and race in the AL West between the Astros and the Athletics right now, who are probably the most surprising team of the season, and the most surprising division of the season was the AL West. The Mariners, who were also kind of in it, were the before All-Star break darlings of the league in the AL, and then after the fact, or after the All-Star break, the Athletics completely turned it on, and so like I say, Angels are pretty much out of it. I won't be covering them as much, so sorry about that, Angels fans, if you're out there listening. But it's it's just, it is what it is, and like I said, going forward, I don't know what they're gonna do going forward, man. They should be much better than they are, obviously, and like I said, I just don't know. I don't know what the answer is for them. But again, sorry, Angels fans, I just won't be talking about Angels as much, unless something crazy happens. If like Ohtani has a great game, or Toronto does great, or someone else on the team does great, or something like that. But yeah, I won't be talking about Angels as much. Moving on from baseball to football. Big preseason game here in LA between the Rams and the real LA team, the Raiders. Like I said, just a big preseason game here in LA, and it was good to have the Raiders back at home where they belong. But predictably, at least to me and my friends and other Raider fans and stuff, the game was overshadowed by a plethora, to say the least, of fights in the stands. Now, although I do not condone that type of behavior at all whatsoever. What did they expect? Did they think they were going to be cordial and civil and not getting any fights or anything like that? Come on, fam. It's the Raiders and the Rams in LA. You know what I mean? That's a whole lot of Mexicans, and there's a whole lot of beer, and it's a whole lot of sun. There's not a whole lot of shade in the Coliseum on an August afternoon. So of course there's gonna be fights, and it was kind of like I said, it was expected. Like I said, what else can you say? But but the game itself was actually pretty good, pretty entertaining game. Back to the stuff on the field that really matters. At least the one thing that I want to touch on was, still no deals for Khalil Mack on the Raiders or for Aaron Donald on the Rams. For those of you who aren't familiar, the star defensive players for each team respectively, they are holding out right now from each other's teams because they are working on or trying to negotiate a new contract to get to get more money and stuff like that, and which is they have every right to do so. And like I said, they deserve it. They're two of the best, if they're two of the best defensive players in the entire league, not just in their divisions or anything, but in the entire league. And like I said, they deserve that money, and they're trying to get what they feel like they deserve. It feels like Aaron Donald's going to re-sign. I think he's just waiting to see what Khalil Mack does first, because I think the Aaron Donald in his camp thinks that he is a better player than Khalil Mack. So they're waiting to see what Khalil Mack gets so that they can use that to leverage what they want to. You know what I mean? You get what I'm kind of saying? So they can get a little bit more. Like, whatever. They're like, well, listen, Khalil Mack's going to get $20 million. We want $22 million or whatever, kind of thing. So that's what it seems like is going to happen on that side with them. But with the Khalil Mack thing, man, it just feels bad. I as a fan, I've got a real bad feeling about it. And, there's more and more rumblings that Khalil Mack just might end up getting traded. Because as we all know, John Gruden, offensive-minded coach, doesn't really care much about defense. Like I said, even though he has one of, if not the best defensive lineman or outside defensive lineman, pass rusher. There we go. Pass rusher up there with him and Von Miller. Arguably 1 and 1A for the best pass rushers in the entire league. Like I said, not just in the AFC or the AFC West, but the entire league. And it's like I said, it's gonna be tough. And if the Raiders, they can't come to an agreement, and Mac's gonna end up getting traded, they're gonna want a lot. They're gonna want a big haul for him. They're gonna want at least, if not another superstar player in return, they're gonna want a first round pick. They're gonna want a top pick, stuff like that. And like I said, I don't know who would be willing to do that. Obviously someone would, because Khalil Mack's that good of a player. But yeah, I don't know how it is going forward. And listen, I know it's a lot of money that they're asking for. I know it's going to be upwards of close to $20 million a season for these guys, and like I said before, they are worth it, but at the same time, I also know that it can potentially cause problems going forward with with the team's salary caps as far as what they want to do. The Rams, already just gave Todd Gurley a big contract. I'm going to look it up right now, but Todd Gurley has a huge contract that he just got. Let me see. Hang on, contract. He just got he got a $60 million contract extension. And they also have to sign Jared Goff. Next year they're going to have to figure out what to do with Jared Goff. So they're going to have to give him big money, and Jared Goff's a quarterback, so he's going to get quarterback money. Not saying he deserves like Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers kind of money, but he's a quarterback that's, pretty good, and they're going to have to pay him as well. So, like I said, it's tough, and then they got to think about that going forward. And then with the Raiders side of things, they're going to be moving to, Vegas. They're going to want to try to sign some free agents, and, they know it's going to be a free agent destination, so they want to have money to spend and stuff like that for players that will want to come there and stuff. And I get all that. But again, these guys are worth the money. I've said it in the last few episodes that I've talked about this situation. Those guys are good enough, and they deserve the money, and they're worth every penny of it. And, they're good enough to give them the money and figure it out later. It's not like, they're the Saints a few years ago where they were just throwing around a bunch of money to, like, not let's say that they were average, but definitely players that were not on the level of Aaron Donald or Khalil Mack. And it tied up their cap situation, and they felt the results of it for a while. But, like I said, they're worth it. That's all I got to say is pay the men. Pay the men. They deserve to get paid. So that was that's football. And last and certainly not least, SummerSlam was on Sunday, this past Sunday, and it was actually really, really good. It was a long show. I will admit that I dozed off a little bit between some of the segments and stuff like that. But when the rings they started hitting the mat again, I woke up a little bit. I'll admit. But saying that, even though it was a long show, and given that I just admitted that yes, I did doze off between some matches and stuff. It didn't really feel like a long show. You know, they paced it out so well with a lot of high spots, and you know, for every, you know, for as many matches as there were, like I said, they paced it well where the climax of the match was enough that like it made you like, oh, nice. You kind of was able to, there was like, you were able to ride the wave sustainably, I guess is the right word, but you were able to ride it without it feeling so all over the place, and it was a smooth ride of the wave. But like I said, it was a very, very long show, so I'm not gonna go over everything. Just hit the high marks from the show, and some of the stuff that happened after it, like the main event, Lesnar and Reigns. The match was fine. You know, it was fine. It was about as well booked as they could do it, and I know I couldn't figure out a better way to do it. You know, they swerved everybody with Braun Strowman. I know a lot of people were pissed off about that because the way that Braun Strowman's been saying that he's going to cash in no matter what. But like I said, it's good. It's just one of those things where you don't want to give him the belt so fast. You want to make him, you know, work for it and stuff like that. Because then it's like, once he gets a belt, now what? So like I said, and it's good. And finally, like I said, you know, finally we can move on from the Brock Lesnar Roman Reigns feud and specifically the Roman Reigns side of things, and we can finally just move on. Like, thank fucking God, this shit is over with, and he can just, you know, the belt's back on Raw. It's going to, you know, add value to the belt again. It's going to add value to Raw a little bit more, and you know, it's good to have the belt around. You know, they already had a great match on Raw on Monday, defending the belt, you know, between Finn Balor and Roman Reigns, so that was great. You know what I mean? Like I said, it's just great when the belt's around and it has meaning and stuff. And so, you know, speaking of that match in a couple of different ways, hopefully they book Braun Strowman cashing in correctly. I feel like they will. They'll get it right. It feels like they're doing the right things right now. Like I said, like I mentioned, they don't want to give it to him too early, or else it's gonna, you know, like I said, it's gonna be like a little too much too soon kind of thing. You know, like I said, and speaking of that match, you know, the Shield is back. Sorry if I ruined it for you guys, for anyone who hasn't seen it, but the Shield is back in a super crazy moment that I'm pretty sure no one saw coming. You know, it looked like Braun Strowman was going to, you know, get the best of Roman Reigns, but then the Shield comes out, and or the other remaining members of the Shield come out, and just, you know, They lay waste to Braun Strowman, triple powerbomb him through the mat, through the announcer's desk, and like I said, it was just a great moment. And hopefully this inspires WWE to want to build around more factions, because there is just so much potential with the factions. We've seen the popularity of the Bullet Club, as I'm sure most of you know. The Bullet Club is the hottest thing in wrestling right now. Well, at least it was. It's kind of on the way down. So I think that's why they want to do it now, when, you know, the Bullet Club is at a little bit of a lull right now. So, like I said, they can go with factions. They can use the Shield. They can do something with Finn Balor and the Good Brothers. They can do something with maybe the Wyatt family again. They already got the New Day. Like I said, there's a lot of potential with this. And another segue from the Shield thing. The IC title match to start the show was great as usual, between Seth Rollins, the new Intercontinental Champion Seth Rollins, and Dolph Ziggler. You know, like I said, it was a great match. Like I said, of course, we expect those guys to put on great matches, like always. But you know, we didn't get the heel turn from Ambrose like everyone wanted. But it's okay, because maybe I'm assuming they're gonna save it for later or something. Not 100% sure. But like I said, it feels like these, you know, hopefully they'll do it. Another thing from this match was I just cannot wait, you know, for the inevitable falling out between Drew McIntyre and Dolph Ziggler, so that Drew McIntyre can go on a solo run, because dude, that guy just looks like an effing stud. Pause on that, but he's got that look, man, where he's just gonna go in and just, he's got it, man, and I can't wait for him, and he should have great feuds with Roman Reigns or Braun Strowman next year. I can see him winning the Royal Rumble next year, even like on that level kind of thing. So, like I said, hopefully that happens. Moving on the flip side of things with the other belt, AJ Styles and Samoa Joe. As much as we wanted the Brock Lesnar Roman Reigns feud to end, I hope that these guys feud forever because it has been that good. This feud was great. This match was great. It's hard to book a no finish or a silly like no contest finish or DQ finish like they did, but they did it perfectly. With Samoa Joe saying that I'll be your daddy now to AJ Styles' wife and stuff, and then AJ Styles snapped, and like I said, it's just they booked it so well, and their match that they're gonna have at Hell in a Cell should go on last. I hope that match goes on last because that match will be so good, and it'll help bring a little bit more merit and a little bit more weight to the WWE Championship. That kind of feels like it's like you forget that they're feuding for the belt. So yeah, I hope there's that. And then I'll go with the good stuff first. Daniel Bryan and The Miz match was fine. I know some people are a little upset with it because they thought it was going to be like the be all end all, like the end of a thing. But I don't know if you realize it, but it was 8 years in the making for the match and stuff like that. They're pushing that, and then it's kind of they made it seem like it was going to be the grand finale, but it just turned out to be another chapter in their feud, building to their mixed tag match with Brie Bella and Maurice, who was looking very snackable front row at SummerSlam. But like I said, the little mixed tag team match. God damn, mixed match, whatever, at Hell in a Cell that they're gonna have. So like I said, that was fine. Like I said, it was just fine. Everything else on the match was just fine. It was what it was. It was there. Finn Balor coming back with the demon makeup was cool, and whatever. And then Shinsuke Nakamura, Jeff Hardy. Sure, I guess. I don't know what's going to happen with Randy Orton. I don't even know why he was there. I mean, I know he had to get his appearance fee and all that shit, but whatever. But I hate to end on a sour note, especially with the women's division. But both women's divisions on Raw and SmackDown, at least to me, are just so... Frustrating is a harsh word, but it's just frustrating and confusing. And so many just kind of like it doesn't feel right because everything just feels so fabricated, and they're trying to push these agendas and these storylines down our throat that we and when I say we, I mean smarky fans and stuff like that, squared circle users and stuff like that, and guys who follow YouTube channels and all that bullshit, whatever. But we don't like it because a lot of it just doesn't make sense, The Becky Lynch heel turn, air quotes heel turn, was an awesome moment, and it had a great pop, and everyone was cheering for it, and it was like, yeah, like it was cool, and it was a cool element to add, just to kind of spice things up a bit with Becky Lynch, because the whole white meat babyface was getting pretty, stale and tired, and so this was cool. And they tried to do that whole thing with her speech on SmackDown where it's just, she's trying to play you guys. They did this with Seth Rollins, and Seth Rollins came back after his injury, where it's like, you guys didn't care about me. It's like, actually, it's the exact opposite. Everyone could not wait for you to come back. Everyone was cheering Becky Lynch nonstop. Everyone's been cheering for Becky Lynch forever, and then they're saying all this stuff like that, and it was just so forced. And she did about as good as a job as she could do with that speech, but the whole thing is just so forced. And they're trying to make her a heel when clearly Charlotte is a much better natural heel. Hopefully they can flip things around with this and try to make more sense of it. So as far as the SmackDown side of things go, and on Raw, it is just a mess right now, man. Like that whole segment on Raw was so ass backwards, the whole thing where it's like, you women did everything so that this outsider can come in here, Ronda Rousey, and we can gift her the belt, kind of thing. And it's like, it just makes no sense, and it's just, that's essentially what it came. They tried to make it seem like, they tried to make it all, fun and fancy free and all this bullshit, but that's how it came off, man. It's like, hey, thanks for all your hard work, Sasha Banks and Bailey and Alexa Bliss and Nia Jax. Thanks for working hard and busting your ass and putting on great matches and having great feuds so that we can build up the women's division, just so that we can give Ronda Rousey, an outsider who, air quotes, loves wrestling so much, it's her dream and stuff, and we can give her the belt and not you guys. So that's just how it felt for me. And like I said, and there's nothing against Ronda Rousey personally, but that's just how it feels to me, to a lot of fans out there, and a lot of people. And on top of that, I don't know what her character is. I don't know what her character is. I don't know if she's supposed to be this, straight baby face, if she's supposed to be this destroyer, because the destroyer works better as a heel. I don't know what they're trying to do. Like I said, I don't know what they're trying to do with Ronda. I don't know what they're going to do with the division, because I don't know who's going to feud with Ronda Rousey going forward. Nia Jax hasn't been on TV in a while, so we don't know what's going to happen with her. She seems to be the most formidable opponent. Asuka's on SmackDown, and they've buried Asuka pretty much with the whole the way that they booked her against Carmella. Charlotte's on SmackDown doing everything with Becky Lynch. I don't know what they're going to do. I really don't know what they're going to do going forward. And they gave her the biggest problem with this is they gave her the belt way, way, way too soon. To the point where, like I mentioned it with the Braun Strowman thing before. It's like, you can't give Braun the belt too soon, because once he has it, it's like, now what? That's the situation they're in with Ronda Rousey right now, is that she has the belt now, and now what? Like I said, I don't know what's to do. No one knows what's gonna happen. Like I said, it's just and the other thing about it, her giving her the belt too soon, is it just feels like they gave her the belt so that she can have the belt and she can be the champion for this Evolution pay-per-view, which should be great. There's already a Trish Stratus match with Alexa Bliss, which should be awesome, and I can't wait for that. And it's going to be a great pay-per-view, but just the fact that it feels like I said, that they gave the belt to Ronda Rousey now, so that way she can be the champ, during all the promos, and she can go on all the news channels and ESPN and stuff, holding the belt, saying, yeah, the WWE Evolution, and, again, just a complete farce with it, where they should be having the people who put the women's revolution on their back. They should have Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair and Sasha Banks and Bayley and Alexa Bliss and Nia Jax, and Paige and all these other, all the other women who have busted their ass, for the last 4 years to do this. Not just, and they should have them. They should be the one getting the spot. Like, that's who it's for. It's supposed to be for them. But it feels like it's just for Ronda and stuff like that. And it's obviously, it's trying to, have her look cool with the belt for the casual outside fans, which is always a bad idea. It just sucks. It just sucks, and it's frustrating. And, it's just, as much as I hate to say it like this, but, I just want that Evolution pay-per-view thing to be over with already, so that way we can move on from this, and we can have properly booked matches and properly booked feuds and figure out what's going on and stuff, so. But yeah, other than that, SummerSlam was good. I know it sounded like I don't like it, but other than that, SummerSlam was good. And also NXT TakeOver was really good. I need to get more invested in it, as opposed to just watching YouTube highlights and clips and shit like that. So, but it was really good. A lot of those guys on there are fucking great. Ricochet is awesome. Adam Cole is great. And Tommaso Ciampa, Johnny Gargano, Velveteen Dream, all the guys are just great. And so, like I said, it's so, yeah, I talked a lot more than I should have, or I wanted to at least. But, all right, that's it. It's going to do it for me on this. Like I said, it feels good to be back. Everybody, thank you guys for tuning in and listening. Hopefully you guys remember to subscribe if you like what you heard. You can subscribe and follow along, on anywhere you get podcasts. I'm working on getting it on Spotify. I know that, they're working on making their podcast accessibility better. So I'm trying to get on that wave. So I'm trying to get on Spotify, but I'm everywhere else. I'm on SoundCloud, iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn, everywhere else you get podcasts. I'm there. And then also follow along on the socials, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Tumblr, whatever, Brown Mamba Radio, Brown Mamba, or JXCKSXNNN with 3 N's. That's for my personal stuff too. Follow along on all that stuff. And everything's on brownmamba.us, which needs a makeover very, very badly. It needs a makeover. Don't worry, it's coming soon. Because Squarespace makes it super easy and use the promo code Brown Mamba. No, see, I don't have one yet, but see how easy it is. See how natural that felt. So Squarespace, if you're out there, if you're listening, come on. Give me a little 10% discount code or whatever they do. I know you give it to everyone else. Why not? So, but yeah, that's going to be it for me today, and hopefully to tune you guys next week. But I also wanted to, along with the normal, salutations I give, I just want to float this message out there for everyone. In this little break I took, I figured, last time what I did was I did a little bit of I changed the format up and did a little rebrand and a little something different. The same thing goes for this little break I took. And, I really, really want to have more guests and do more interview type things. I know I've done a couple in the past and stuff. But I really want to have more guests and interviews and stuff like that because, that's just, as much as I'm sure you guys love hearing me talk, I know personally that, podcasts work best when it's just two people having a great conversation and the microphones just happen to be there. So, like I said, if you personally are listening and you want to come on and talk about anything, sports, pop culture, current events, or anything cool or interesting or anything that you think would make a great discussion or conversation with me or whoever else or whatever, let me know. Or if you know someone else, who would want to come on, and talk, just let me know. There's a lot of things to talk about, especially with sport, mainly sports. That's just my thing, mainly sports, pop culture, stuff like that. There's a lot of stuff going on with sports, wrestling, very obviously. So if you know any wrestling people out there that are interested, let me know. But a lot of stuff with sports, we got footballs coming around the corner. There's, stuff to talk about there. There's stuff on the field to talk about. There's stuff off the field to talk about. I'm down to talk about that stuff as well. There's fantasy stuff. There's fantasy aspects. My fantasy drafts are coming up soon. I'm in my 2 leagues, so there's gonna be a lot of fantasy football talk coming up. Might do something cool with the fantasy thing too. Just it's a little thing I'm floating out there. There's some other things I want to do too, as far as making more content and stuff like that. But like I said, fantasy stuff. Baseball playoffs are coming up soon, so I would love to talk baseball with anybody. Not just Dodgers, but like I said, overall baseball as well, the entire postseason. And just like I said, there's a whole lot of cool stuff to talk about. And like I said, I like to think that I'm, a little, not smart. I don't like saying it that, but I like to say that the main thing for me is, knowledge truly is power. And, if you have the opportunity to know about something, why wouldn't you? Why would you not? Why would you choose not to know about it? So I do a lot of, reading and stuff like that. I try to stay up to date on the current events. Like I said, not just with sports and sports media, sports culture, but, pop culture and Hollywood stuff and tabloids and politics. I try my best, like I mentioned before. I try my best with politics and other current events that are going on. So like I said, just anything interesting that you think might, lead to a great conversation, let me know. And like I said, I'm reaching out to a few people myself. So if you get the message, say something back. I'd love to sit and chat with any of you guys out there, or girls too. Like I said, girls too, guys and girls. But that would be really great. And like I said, I got new energy, I got new everything, and I'm ready to do this. So hit me up, any way you can. You can hit me up on Instagram, Twitter, whatever. You can email me, whatever you got to do, but just hit me up, and that'd be great. And I'm looking forward to doing that. And yeah, that is it for me today. Officially, that is it for me today. I'm gonna get out of here. Got a lot of stuff to take care of today. Gonna be a busy weekend for me at work. Yeah, I know. But yeah, so like I said, make sure you guys, again, like I said before, but make sure you guys subscribe if you guys like what you heard, like always. And make sure you guys follow along on all the socials and all that. And shout out the blog boys. Shout out to all the blog boys and the blog girls. And yeah, hopefully you guys all enjoy your weekend. Hopefully you guys have fun and do great things, but be safe and responsible as well. Don't just have a good weekend, make it a good weekend. And drink more water. Health is wealth. It's finally starting to cool down, but you still got to stay hydrated. And please, everybody, be kind to each other, because it is easy to be nice. And catch you guys in the next one. Peace.